back on your life, can you imagine the course that your life might have taken if you hadn't found meditation practice? I know you mentioned that it had helped you out in a lot of situations. What if you hadn't found that resource? Do you think that that would have had a big effect on what your life looks like now?
Yeah, totally. It's interesting to think about because in one hand, you can't really say, right? It's impossible to know, but for sure, I know it's made a huge improvement on my life without a doubt. So yeah, it's interesting to think about. I don't know in what ways it would be different exactly. I think that kind of an unintended consequence for meditation is I've become a lot happier and kinder in some ways, which is not at all what I was looking for. For me, it was just like, it was about peak experiences and it was like this cool mystical thing. That was one of the things I noticed after a couple of years of practice was that I become a lot softer in a lot of ways. So I don't think I'd be as patient or as kind, and not that I'm patient and kind all the time, but definitely I think more than when I started. I think it's definitely helped me to stay focused and to keep in mind what really matters to me and that sort of thing. So maybe those are some of the ways, but it's hard to tell.
I think those are really important ways, actually. And it's so fascinating, that journey. It makes perfect sense, right? When you discovered it at this young age, when there's this sense of magic about it, right? And the notion that, oh, this could make my life more magical. Wouldn't it be great to have a life that's more magical? And those peak experiences reflect this idea of this kind of super life, right? And then, and jumping out of planes, right? There's this whole, and then the journey from that to kindness. I thought that was really poignant when you highlighted this unexpected, unintended benefit or consequence, however you want to look at it, of practice being kindness. That's so wonderful. And the way then that kindness shapes your future, that if you are walking around on the planet just a little bit more kind every day from your practice in little ways, right? Maybe the cumulative effect of that. What does it look like? What does a life look like if you're increasingly kind as the days go by, as the years go by through your practice? Where does that take you?
I thought it was really surprising as well, especially because I was never really doing any of the heart practices or loving kindness. Like that was maybe 5% of my practice. So yeah, it was a surprising consequence for sure.
Yeah. Also the practical consequence you pointed to of that it just made you better able to focus on your goals, right? So there's that balance coming in. Is like when you're younger, the peak experience, of course, your mind's going to go there, right? But then as you mature, that sense of being able to accomplish goals and the ability to focus on what you want to get done and how that shows up.